All right. So everybody, guess what? We have a new format, and this new format for Give It to the People Live is still amazing because we always bring you amazing guests. So I'm Chisa Pennix-Brown, and we are doing Give It to the People Live, which is our opportunity to highlight BIPOC businesses. And if you don't know what that is a Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and also women-owned businesses. And today I have somebody that is really awesome that actually I went to school with at Elon. She a little young tender though. She a little bit younger than me, okay? But she's a wonderful little young tender. And so our little young tender that's going to be on here is a mom. She is a executive, everything. And I'm just really super proud to like know somebody that's really that awesome. So I want to say, hey, this evening to you, Latoya. Let them know all about you.
Hello, Chisa. It's so good to see you. Thank you for the invitation. I'm so excited to be here tonight. So,
yes, I'm happy to have you.
I'm ready to give it to the people.
Good. So listen, guys, what we're doing is we're doing a smaller format. So we're changing over from being 1 hour because we're going to be a little bit more podcast focused. So I don't want you to think like, oh my God, I cheated her out of an interview or it wasn't as long as it needed to be or anything like that. We are packing all of the good information in. So Latoya, give them a little bit of your background because she is working with a company that I think is really amazing that I knew nothing about. She built this city. So tell them even how this progressed to you to be in that position and what you do there.
Absolutely. So She Built This City is a nonprofit organization focused on igniting interest in construction and the maker trades for girls, career-choosing women, and non-binary individuals. It was founded in 2019 by Demi Knight Clark, who got tired of being the only woman at the table after 20 years in construction. She took her passion, turned it into the mission of this organization, and got a fast start in early 2020 before everything shut down. Even in the midst of the craziness, and sometimes because of it, it really propelled the organization forward. I came on board June 2020. It's first time I ever got a call for a job. No interview, no resume, just, hey, I know the work that you do. I respect the work that you do. I need you to take over the organization. She was going back into the for-profit industry. She knew that that's where she needed to be. She wanted always to have a seat at the table. And she wanted someone with nonprofit experience, which I had 20 years of, to come and say, let's take it to the next level. So it's been a little over a year since I've been here. And we serve youth with hands-on engagement opportunities to learn the trades. We don't want them to be afraid of tools. We serve adults. We just graduated our first class of all women plumbing, pre-apprenticeship, 8 women, 70% African-American, 30% Latinas in our program because we're trying to change the stigma, change the face of the industry.
Okay. All right. So Latoya doesn't know about Tammy, but Tammy has got to come out. So for everybody that already knows, y'all know about Tammy Faye, Tambourine Brown, right? Tammy comes out when people say good stuff, and she just gave us like the most amazing intro. When you think about the stats, and when you think about, this is just me personally, because I love to work with nonprofits, and one of my areas of focus over the years has always been makers, right? And so we always say in the maker community that there are not enough skilled trade jobs as far as the training. The jobs are there, right? But you don't necessarily get all of that training. And so with this company, this organization, this nonprofit, you are doing that, but you're taking it up like all the levels because you're focusing on women and you're making sure that the minorities that do not normally get into these fields are in there. Now, this is something where I can't say that I would have necessarily went into that route because I'm a talker. And so I love to do that, right? I'm just one of those people. But would I have possibly chosen a different career if that was an option, right? So with you being, and I don't know as much about She Built the City, I read like the stuff that you sent, but are there multiple areas that you focus on aside from being in the Charlotte area where somebody else that's not there may be able to get exposure to your program?
Excellent question. So right now, the Charlotte metro area is home base.
Okay.
We're really doing due diligence to build out our programming so we can expand. We've gotten requests from across the country of, can we do a program here? Can you come to DC? Can you come to South Carolina? And we're saying yes next year. Give us some time to truly build out a foundation because we are growing fast locally. We don't want to spread into other areas without having our due diligence, our foundation. You don't have to be perfect. When you're trying to make change, you have to be willing to make mistakes and trip a little bit, but always fall forward. You have to always fall forward. So we don't have to be perfect, but we do need to be sound. Like we gotta have some basic stuff together. So I would say within the next 2 years, you'll see multiple locations of She Built the City Southeast starting, and then spreading west, going towards Texas. We're looking at like cities. And so Austin, Texas has a similar demographic to Charlotte. Detroit, Michigan has some, when I say similar demographic, I mean construction is growing, and there's a large minority population that is unemployed. And so how can we,
bridge the gap
together? And so
now
those are the areas in Miami as well.
I would imagine that there's probably all kinds of funding out there, because what you're doing is very a hard skill, and you're affecting a population that is often marginalized. So I just go straight in. How can people give you money? Like if they decide that they want to donate, right? We're nonprofit.
Where's my tambourine? I don't have.
How can they? Oh, you need a tambourine? Like, I'm not going to wait. How can they give you some money so that this way your efforts can be multiplied in just North Carolina, but then you can also branch out to those other areas?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. So anyone can donate to the organization. www.shebuiltthecity.org. We have a donate button right there. Any gift of any size goes long. I've only worked for nonprofits my entire career. I know how to make a penny stretch, and we take that very seriously. If you are in the construction or maker space, because what you said is so important, people think construction, they think only hard hat and, orange vest. It expands a gamut of opportunities. And so if you're in a maker space and you want to partner with us, we love to partner. I'll ask you for your partnership before I ask you for your dollars, because partnership goes further. So if you're looking to get in the space yourself, if you want to help women get into the field, if you have a skill set that you want to train someone in, info@shebuiltthecity.org. It usually comes straight to me. Let's connect, let's talk, let's figure out how we can make this happen. It's a slower turnover than when you just give the money. We love the money, but I value the partnership even more, because partnership goes further.
Now, if a person has, I don't know, tools, supplies, those kind of things, even down to, like, I know somebody just asked me to donate clothes to like the journalism department for girls at A&T. And I told them, no problem, I got clothes galore. Long as you got a thick chick, I got some clothes for you, right? So, I was like, I have stuff, because I have like suits and things that I don't necessarily need to wear now. So if that's what they need for their career, they're sitting there, you know what I'm saying? They're clean. They're good. Let me just go ahead and give it to somebody. Somebody might say, you need XYZ amount of tools, or they need a type of clothing, or maybe shoes. Maybe they need some steel toe boots or something. Is that the kind of stuff that you're also looking for people to donate to help the women that are in the program?
Absolutely. So all the things you mentioned, any tools, hand tools, power tools, not only for the women at our program, but for the youth that are learning. We want to expand, and so that it makes trades more accessible. Quick history lesson, the trades were taken out of the schools in the 70s. And so I would say, Chisa, we may be a part of the last generation that was probably exposed to a shop class.
I had a shop class. I did.
Yes.
And this is why I knew this wasn't for me, girl. When I'm telling you, I almost cut off a piece of finger. I was like, nope. So I decided I could build things. Like, I'm good at putting stuff, but cutting up stuff, that was not for me. I knew that wasn't my option. But yes, I think that we are probably the last generation. It probably, if you're in that, we're Zennials, right? That had this type of thing. And even when you talk about home ec, but the question is, why did they take them out of schools, and you're there to fill that gap. So give me the history lesson. I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that it was taken out of school. So we have a whole generation going on 2 generations now that have had no exposure whatsoever. So while our focus is on women and will always be on women, we are looking at youth in general, any gender, because we realize that there's a pipeline that is running dry of people who are even aware of this. And so this going back to the donation of tools, we want to get school sets of things because they don't have them anymore. Why did they get rid of it? Chisa, because it was more expensive. It was more expensive to train someone in a workshop than it is a classroom. You can only get 12 kids in a workshop where you can get 40 in a classroom. So slowly but surely, they changed the way to engage and turn, the shop class into 4 classrooms, get more kids in the building, so.
Wow.
And I'm sure there were other reasons, but that it was a cost saving feature for most schools.
Okay. And I mean, I don't want to say the word stupid, but whoever thought that that was better, when you understand that children specifically learn in multiple different ways, some are visual, some are auditory, some, kinesthetic. When you understand that, that may have been the thing that saved somebody. That may have been the occupation that has a person that's 2-3 generations down, where this company is a millionaire because their great-great-grandfather or their great-grandfather or their grandfather learned a skilled trade. And now you don't have that now. So now I know people are going to ask this question also, even though you focus on women, is there a program that focuses on men similar to this? Or is there an opportunity for men who don't identify as women, right? In the traditional sense, to participate with your program if they were so inclined?
Excellent question. So I know that there are some other training programs like with Goodwill and Urban League, especially here in Charlotte, that have some opportunities to be paid to learn in the HVAC area. Just a few. There's a program, this was for women, but there's a program in the Carborough area called Hope Renovations that also does women's training. But for men's training, it's few and far between, unless, let me say this, unless you go directly to the company. What we're seeing here in Charlotte is that there are a lot of companies themselves. When I say companies, I mean construction companies. They have apprenticeships, but you have to commit to working for that company. And so that term apprenticeship is a little antiquated. We don't hear it very often, but it exists. It exists, and it is a pathway to be paid to learn. Earn while you learn is a little tagline that most say. And so I would say look for apprenticeships in your area.
Okay.
Because some basic skills, I mean, really basic. You have a high school diploma or GED, some basic math skills, and then they will train you the rest of the way. And so I would say, if you're looking for a training program in your community and you don't have a Goodwill or Urban League area that is doing some free trainings, search for apprenticeships in construction. And I'm sure you will find a company that has one and that you can work in the field, get paid, and learn. So I would say that is a pathway. We are looking to expand our programming. So right now, of course, She Built the City. We're looking to partner with organizations like Men of Destiny that does training like this for the community. And so we can bring our populations together and create more equity in the space overall. So now, in the very future, yes.
I would love to just see, and I'm just thinking about connecting you with, and I don't know if you know about the Forge that's here in Greensboro, but I know the Forge, they have reached out to me to ask me to be a board member. And I politely declined, but only because of time constraints, the thing that people don't understand about nonprofits is having that board and then you don't get paid. But you also, you get paid, but if they ask you to be on the board, you don't get paid. But it's the time investment. And I never try to put in like a 10% when I know you need 100. So I always want to make sure that my time makes sense and that I can do what you're asking me to do before I take on a responsibility. And I think more people should do that, because you don't realize how much effort needs to go into it and how much you'll want to put into it. So for me, I think that would be a natural kind of a marriage thing. And I wonder, is there some type of network or organization where a person that's not necessarily in Charlotte, who can't participate in your program, can still be connected to what you do and kind of learn? And then my other question would be, do you do like any workshops for people who may not necessarily want to do this as a trade, but may want to learn this skill set so that this way they have their own improved acumen about learning how to do those types of things in construction?
Excellent question. So to your first point, if you want to be involved but are not local or don't necessarily have the same skill set to give, like you said, to serve on the board, a few things. We have what's called the Women Network Advisory Council. It is a co-ed space of women and allies across the country who want to support She Built the City. And so they're our sounding board, bring ideas to them. It's a once a quarter commitment to say, hey, this is what we're thinking about. Are we are we on the track or are we off track? Give me some feedback before I take this live. So we have that space. I would say follow us on social media. We're becoming even more active in our YouTube space for those kinds of classes and courses that you were mentioning. We're in the pilot phase of a soft home repair course, to exactly what you were saying, because I've been having a lot of conversations with partners in our community that focus on upward mobility, specifically for single mothers.
Yes.
So you're in an apartment and you're doing some financial education to become a homeowner. So you're getting your finances right. But when you get to that house that you own, there's no property management to call to fix stuff. And so that's a big hurdle for a lot of people to go over, to say, I'm now responsible for this. It's not just the financial piece, it's the competency to feel like I know how to take care of this, that confidence asset that I have. Exactly. Yeah. So we are working on a curriculum right now that is 2 levels. One is a maintenance person or a repair woman who could actually go around and make money, helping people with their homes. But then we're looking at like a soft version where it's like, I don't want to know how to fix everything. I just want to know if they're telling me the truth. Like,
oh, yes, that's that, because people will always try to take advantage of women. And I think that to me is an important factor. And I'm just like looking at it from the outside looking in. So if I'm not necessarily interested in learning the skill set, but I have a skill set that I would love to teach to women who want to become business owners, you know what I mean? And that would be a way for a person like me to get involved. Not to say that I don't want to learn anything, but how can I do something from afar? You know what I mean? And I think that there are probably plenty of women or just people in general who would want to be able to give their skill set to it. And maybe it's a curriculum, or maybe it's just a one-off thing or something like that. But I just always know when I'm hearing things, what's missing and what can we add to it that would make it even better and more comprehensive. And, when people hear that and they hear that learning side to things, that's when they definitely want to give, So how many women have gone through your program so far?
Yeah, so we just got started with our first class, July. They literally graduated last week. So we had those 8 women total. We're doing our next cohort, which is a women's repair crew. We're actually hiring the women. So whereas the one this summer was, we're training you. We did pay $100 a week a stipend because life, we want gas money, dinner, whatever it needs to be. But this next round, we're actually going to hire the women to work for She Built This City proper, like our staff. And we're going to go out and train what our own version of an apprenticeship, honestly, is going to learn while you earn. So we do some basic repair work. We have a few nonprofit partners, custom cabinetry, drywall repair, that are going to teach our ladies on the job how to do these repairs. And so because you have this gig economy now, like Handy.com, TaskRabbit, things of that nature, where it could be a side hustle, it could be a career, whatever it is, you can go out there and you can make your own. Because I think one of the key things, and you mentioned this about entrepreneurship, Chisa, the key thing about construction that I'm really trying to elevate the conversation with for women in particular is the ability to become your own boss. Just like being an attorney, like once you get your license, you can go work for another firm if you want to, or you can start your own. Same thing. Once you become a licensed plumber, a licensed electrician, you can go join a company if you want to. You can also go start your own business. And for a woman to be empowered in that space, and better than most, becoming a minority-owned, woman-owned business, the competitive advantage is there. And so we're trying to get through that phase 1 of teach you the skill, but very soon, as we would say in the church, we're going to be talking about those entrepreneurship courses, because it's one thing to know the skill, but it's another thing to run your business. And so we're trying to make sure that we give them those foundations along the way. You know what, Chisa, I may be coming for a consult down the road, because not everybody needs to be a business owner. When I say needs to be, it's the finances, the marketing, all those things. I'd love for She Built This City to be a holding spot for those women entrepreneurs, that we could take on some of those marketing and scheduling pieces for them, and they can go run the technical portion of their business. Because I see the vision, but I see the vision, and I see how powerful something like this could be. And I think that if the women in the community embrace it the way that they could,
Because there's always somebody who doesn't want to go the traditional route. And one thing that I think that's important that people just don't seem to pay attention to as much with trades is you have the military that you can go to. You have a regular job that you can go to that's not going to pay as much as your trade, right? And then, you know, you can start a business. And it's nothing wrong with either of those things, but the skills that they will learn there,
right,
that's where you can eat forever. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, to me, if you know how to do things with the car and you can be a mechanic, you can always go somewhere and be a mechanic, right? A graphic, there are certain skills that you have that somebody will always pay for. And then let's not even get into, like, if they get their hub certification, their MWBE certifications, and then they can get government contracts, like those 8 women, and that's why I wanted you to kind of give me the number again.
Yes.
If they do things the right way with the right, you know, we have the skill set, but now we want to take it up, could make so much money within the next year, 2 years, 5 years, and then bring that skill set back to She Built This City to help more people that are just starting. Like, it's just going to be a wonderful cycle. So I like to prophesy at every one of these, and that's what I'm prophesying. Like, I see the bigness of it, and I also see, like, it's so much that goes into this. And even if, like you said, they did the gig economy, wouldn't you be like, what? A woman plumber? Yes, ma'am. Let me hire you, right? Like, the marketing thing of that is just marvelous. So I'm excited about everything that you have coming up. And, you know, so if a person is interested in saying, well, look, I would like to be a part of the cohort, what is the process for them to do that?
Absolutely. So on our website, we have a tab called Workforce Development. Our wait list for our next cohorts are already there. You can fill out the application, and then we'll be in touch with you when the enrollment starts.
Okay. And how many women can you take maximum? Because I know that, you know, you're going to screen them and all of that, but what would your max be capacity wise for you to say that the next cohort can be up to this amount?
So I got some things in the works.
Okay.
And we're trying to do a couple of different cohorts: plumbing, electrician, and then, like I said, that maintenance repair role. We're looking at doing 12 per cohort and potentially 2 a year. You know,
okay.
2 different ones a year. And so what is that? We're looking at upwards
64.
Towards
64. Yeah.
Yeah,
64.
Up towards 60. Yeah, I was guesstimating.
Yeah, no, look, I was like, okay, 36. Okay, so yeah, so or 64, 62, somewhere in there. So with that, the training time frame, which I'm assuming, since you're going to do 2 a year, is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? How long is that training time frame for each cohort?
We're pushing about 15 weeks is how we've done the last one, but we're spacing it out because I'm still building this phase of it, but it's now, once you've done the training, now it's the 3 months of support afterwards. To get you into your job. And how was that first, you know, service job that you went on? How are you engaging with your employer? Because we know that from any class you've taken, you can take all the class, but it don't matter till you get the job and you're doing the work.
Real life, yeah. When real life hits, it's like,
we want to be there and have our team available once you finish, and then we can support the job placement. So with the women who just graduated, we've now started sharing job descriptions and applications with them and getting their resumes up to par so that they can be ready to go and compete. Because it's one thing, an interview in general can be overwhelming and intimidating, but into a career where you're changing careers, completely new, we want to be there by their side to coach and support, make phone calls, be their references if we need to. And so we're trying to space them out so that we can support each cohort as they enter into the workforce.
And that makes sense. And then are you also seeking more employers who would be interested in hiring people? Because I think that's the other thing. You know, I've seen some stuff where people get you ready for something and then you're sitting there like, I'm ready, but then you can't move on to the next step unless they do have something there for you. So, so basically, if we say, hey, plumbing companies, HVAC companies, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be in Charlotte, but I would assume that within a certain proximity so that the women can get to those jobs, you know, we're looking for you to be the people that hire. Now, with that, I feel like this is an important question to ask. is there any requirement for people who may have had run-ins with the law? Right. So is there like, okay, you can't be a felon, or, background checks, I would imagine. Is there anything that goes on with that? Because if you're trying to get them into jobs, then they're going to have to do that eventually. If they just need the skill set, then that may not be a barrier. But is there any type of thing like that to get into the program?
Yes, so for our program, there aren't any barriers there. And one of the spaces that while we've chosen to go so deep in this, is because it is a forgiving space. So there may be some prohibitions for the residential component, so going into people's homes with different things in the background, but commercial. So working on new construction, there wouldn't be a barrier.
Okay.
It's open. And so I think I know there are multiple opportunities for success regardless of your background. And so I say still come on. We will still work with you to try to find a fit for you and what you're looking to do for your future.
And I think that's important, because we can't act like women don't have past, and that could be something, and that's usually a barrier for people. So if someone was saying, well, look, I'd love to do this, but I got this on my record or something. When you look at all of the nonprofits that are working with people that are looking at recidivism and trying not to send you back to jail and making sure that you can have something prosperous, this program is definitely, to me, like a beacon of hope for people who might have that as an issue. But once you learn the skill set, you learn the skill set. Now, people can always, if they're going to do their independent businesses, they can always go get licensed and bonded, as long as that's something that they can do. But if you're going to work for a company, then you kind of want to take that into consideration. And so that's good to not have that as a barrier to entry. So what do you see? I know you said you want to expand, but in your wildest dreams for this organization, what would you say? Because I like to usually ask people what's their superpower, but in this case, what do you see as the organization's superpower, where you have, if you just could make it as big as you want it, what would that look like to you?
As big as I want it, there'd be a She Built This City in every city. I was going to say every metro area first, but no, rural this is needed in our rural communities as well. I would see She Built the City or some version of it in every single city. And there's the connection from 7 years old to 27, 57. There's an on-ramp to the trades as an option, because it's not for everybody. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, everybody is going to excel in this. It isn't for everyone, but everyone needs to know it's an option, and to have the option to choose it or not to choose it. And so I would love to see these on college campuses. I would love to see networking organizations. There's the National Association of Black Women in Construction. I want to see more of those. Right now, the closest to us is in Atlanta. We need that in North Carolina. We need it in Charlotte. We need it in Greensboro.
So who needs to start that? Look, I'm gonna give you a
30
little
members. I need 30. I need 30.
Because you know that's gonna be my next question. So what needs to happen to make that happen? Because well, it's not construction, but I have some clients that do landscaping. So there would be other areas of influence that still might, work with something along those lines. And what are the things that women traditionally don't do, or are a really teeny weeny minority in those areas? I think that would be something really important. Okay. Absolutely. All right. So absolutely. I mean, I can see that. Yeah. And I mean, it is necessary. And I mean, it's kind of the same thing as like, right now, I just looked this morning, it said we are down, I think, 800,000 truck drivers in this country. And part of it is COVID, but part of it is also, how much does it cost to be a truck driver? Are there enough classes that are available? Being able to get a license, because that's one thing, and afford a CDL, and all of those other things. So when you talk about this type of area, something, your business, the way that it's structured is there to build, and also for something to go wrong. Because you need a plumber when you're building, but you also need them when something goes wrong, right? So when you look at that, there's always going to be new construction, and something's always going to go wrong, which means this is a high demand field.
Yes. Yeah. And it cannot be outsourced.
No, right? Yeah, that's another thing that's important for it too. So is there anything else that you want to leave the people with? Anything else that you want to let them know about She Built This City, so that this way people can really see, yes, I love this. And I'm sure that by now they love it. They want to donate. They want to participate. They want to just tell people and yell from the rooftops. But anything that you want to leave people with to kind of impart, the importance of this organization?
First, again, thank you so much
Oh,
for the
yeah.
opportunity to speak tonight. I would say, as in closing, just to think that this is for us, not just them, and whatever that means to you. We are in roles in everyday life, mothers, counselors, aunties. Encourage the young people in your life to consider the trades. I think sometimes we think like, that's good for them, but not my little Johnny, he going to college. Like,
and little Johnny needs to go on out there and do that, because little Johnny is gonna waste your money. Yeah.
And so we're not anti-college. And we're not saying that the trades is an alternative to college because you couldn't make it in college. No, it takes so much critical thinking, problem solving skills to think on your feet, to solve these everyday problems and to build something from scratch. Consider it. And so what we're seeing is that oftentimes school counselors are being gatekeepers for these kinds of roles, and parents are saying, don't choose it. So I'm just saying it is for us. If you think about every wealthy Black community in the history of the country, the trades built that. Our first
Foundation.
millionaire Black woman, Madam C.J. Walker, a cosmetologist, it's a skilled trade, and so I want to see us as a community embrace this again, because this is how we made a significant portion of our
You better
wealth.
tell them, doggy. The dog say, yes, it's for us. Look, your dog.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. But you bring up a good point, because we went to Wake Forest to go look around. We would go into this event, and all of Wake Forest, and I'm talking about the city, not the college, but probably the college too, was built by a Black man. So when you talk about all of these schools, Duke was built by a Black man, right? I'm sure Elon that we went to was built by some Black people. I just don't know specifically who built it. But when you look at most of these institutions, when you look at the infrastructure of this country, people built it. And we have to realize that it can still be an important thing. And not just can, it is still an important thing. But when those times were happening, women weren't even allowed to be in these professions. So give yourself as a woman the permission to learn something else, and to just increase your knowledge, and hopefully also increase your bank account by having a lively career that is going to be able to support you and your family. And then hopefully you can pass that skill set down to your children or your nieces and nephews and whoever else. Like, it's a valuable thing. It's definitely a valuable thing. Hey, cuteness. He said he was not going to let you get on this thing without getting on here. How are you today?
Oh, it's good.
Hey. So I've been seeing, hold on, since you're here, we'll just do a little something. So how do you like this whole modeling acting thing? How do you like that?
I do like it a lot.
Yes, I can tell. Well, it's good. And I think that that's definitely something that you should just, just stay sweet, stay cute, okay? And then you will get, all the doors will open up, all right? So don't get ugly, okay? That's all. That's all you got to do, is just stay cute and sweet, and honey, all the doors will open up. And I mean ugly with attitude. You got to have a cute boy attitude, because that's really the thing, right? So I don't mean ugly like your face, a cute attitude, like that's the real thing, and confident. So those are my pieces of advice to impart to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you know that my dad used to act too?
Did he? So you just have a whole talented family and a wonderful mother too, huh? Look, he said, hey, I'm gonna put this little face all up in here. Hey, Mom. I love it though. Yeah. So he said, Dad, you might need to get back into your acting. Okay. He's just making sure everybody gets what they need to have. Okay. Well, look, I want to thank you for just imparting this wisdom, like because people don't know. And I follow people. I might not say something all the time, but I'm always looking at great people doing great things, and I've been able to see your growth. And I'm just interested. I feel like it's an important thing to let people know. And when I saw it on LinkedIn, I was like, oh, she needs to be on the show because people need to know about this. And I was just like, this is really an awesome organization. So if we can let more people know about it and spread the word, then that's what's up for sure. All right. So Latoya, thank you.
So much.
No problem. Thank you so much. And I'm going to tell everybody, make sure that you do what? That you always show up and show out and continue to give it to the people. Good night, everybody.
Good night.